in the street.
Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
All right, welcome into Purple Access. Judd, Zulgad, Chip Scoggins, Star Tribune sports columnist, my former partner in crime on the Vikings beat. And you know, Chip, in our day, there was never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. There was always something happening, often involved the quarterbacks and a lot of other things. And I'm just glad that it's 2025 now, years later, and things have stabilized to the point of, well, they really haven't. All right, so it's unbelievable. Like, I was thinking we talk about, Sunday's game, and we talk about what happened, what transpired against the Ravens and all of that good stuff. Kevin O'Connell's play calling, J.J. McCarthy's play. But I think we got to start here. So Kevin O'Connell at the podium, I know that you were there, talks about the fact that you're going to see some type of bandage on McCarthy's right hand. He hit his hand on, turned out, Donovan Jackson's helmet, which we've seen before. We've covered this before. And that, don't be concerned about it. It's not going to be a problem. And then why don't you describe what you saw in practice yesterday?
Well, what I didn't see, him throwing passes. I didn't see him throw one pass. He threw it left-handed.
Looked good. Seifert documented it. It looked real good.
Yeah, it was a tight spiral.
Kenny Stabler.
Yeah.
The snake.
I love how O'Connell sets it up, because he goes through, he's like, this guy's coming back, this guy's going to be limited, this guy's going to be, in the whatever. And he says, and I also want to make you aware, just so you guys are going to see something. It's like, your first reaction is like, uh-oh, now what? Because that's how he sets it up every time with JJ or something like that. It's like, yes, I just want to be, it's just kind of at the end of the thing, he's like, now he's going to drop the big one on you, right? And it's funny, when he sold it, I was thinking it was going to be a little Band-Aid and he's going to be out there throwing passes and we, nothing to see here. And then we didn't saw him throw any passes. And then afterwards, we talked to McCarthy at his weekly press conference, and he compared it to getting your hand slammed in a car door.
That hurts.
That's problematic when you're trying to grip a football and throw it. So
yes,
I don't know. The way O'Connell said, if they'd had one more day, it would have been a non-factor. I think is basically they're just trying to get the swelling out. But the fact that we didn't see him throw any passes, and then he threw one left-handed, just kind of back to a coach. He didn't throw it right-handed. It felt like it was probably more significant than what we were led to believe.
Well, yeah, and we've covered this before. I'm sure that you have had the same thing where a quarterback hits his hand. Like, it happens
all the time. Yeah,
it happens all the time. But when you hit a helmet, it's not necessarily good. Here's my concern, and I tweeted about this. I tweeted about McCarthy's inability to stay off the injury report, stay healthy last night. And, it's he just hit his hand. It's not a big deal. But one is his passing hand. Two, he's J.J. McCarthy. He needs experience as healthy as possible. It's one thing to go out there with a little bit of a tweak or something, right? It's another when the primary focus of how you throw the football is impacted. I mean, I have to admit, I'm very curious now. Like, I think he starts, but But beyond that, I'm very curious, because this definitely is going to impact his ability to throw the football.
I didn't go back and look at it. I didn't see Seifert's report. He said he was on a pass to Jefferson. I don't know when that happened.
It was the one in the end. It was the one in the third quarter.
That laser to him?
Yes, the laser.
Okay. Yeah.
Which looked actually sort of, I think, like the Bears touchdown pass, right? In week one.
Yeah.
Yes,
and,
that one.
It was actually a hell of a pass. So I'd like to see what he threw after that. Because if you're talking about getting your hand slammed, Judd has it. Do you have it? If you're talking about
sent to me.
Okay, if you're talking about getting your hands, and he mentioned, he's like, because I think it might have been Kevin or somebody asked him, did it impact the way you threw the ball? He said, well, if you get your hand slammed in a car door, it's going to hurt. So I'm curious to see what his numbers were after that.
According to Seifert, what he sent me, we were texting back and forth about this last night. J.J. McCarthy, 56% completion percentage before he did it, 35% after.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's how you throw the football.
It's hurting. It's clearly hurting, and it clearly swelled up on him because O'Connell talked about getting the swelling out of there. So I don't know. By Sunday, is it going to be fine? possibly, yeah. But on Wednesday, we didn't see him throw passes, and he had a pretty big bandage on it. And when you're talking about gripping a ball, you just, whether it's ankle, foot, you just want him to feel as close to healthy as he can. Correct. Because obviously, and I don't know, this whole thing about 9 and this personality and this, that comes out. Did you hear that growl? That was pretty good. Huh?
That was good. That was really good.
Does he get, Judd, is his inaccuracies, because we see it, I keep going back to the one pass to Jefferson along the Ravens sideline where he throws it 7 feet over his head and he's wide open. And even the announcer said, that's one you gotta connect on there. Is that mechanics? Is that because he's so amped up emotionally? Was it his hand? I don't. Was a combination of all those things? I don't know, but I wonder if his that competitiveness that he gets so. I feel like he's like hyperventilating. It's not to that, but just so amped up that his accuracy that causes his mechanics to get off, out of whack, and then he's inaccurate. But his, the inaccuracies he showed. I mean, Judd, there's 22 incompletions.
I know.
How often do you see that in a football game? 22 incompletions.
Well, look at the amount of passes he was asked to throw. I mean, we've talked about in the show that on the shows all week is the amount of passes that O'Connell threw, and then we could certainly get into his response.
Yeah,
to a question about that. But I'm with you though. It's like he has to be able to play as healthy as possible, and I know the response is, well, nobody's, in the course of an NFL season, nobody's ever healthy, and I don't disagree with that, but. Your reality is one is we have to see you as close to being able to play up to your ability as possible. And I just think your hand being hurt is probably not a great thing. But the other thing too is, at some point here, it has to get to you have to figure out what you're saying, what's going on here, right? Because it's weird. Like the scripted plays go great.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that he was too hyped up if he came out like that. But if you look at the first quarter passing stats, they're actually pretty good. It gets gradually worse. I will maintain, I think it's his mechanics, because I saw him throw a pass on Sunday where my best description is this. When you're playing outfield as a kid and a coach tells you if you're trying to throw a guy out at the plate, for instance, and there's a ball that comes to you, not a fly ball, but like a ground ball, that you should crow hop to get some extra.
Yeah.
I saw him at one point. He crow hopped.
Yeah, to try to get some juice on it.
Yeah, but that makes the ball sail because your feet, like the whole. I mean, O'Connell's 100% right. The whole thing about your feet and your eyes and the balance being connected, like quarterback is not playing the outfield. I mean, if it was, Tim Tebow would be going to Canton.
Yeah,
because
that's right. Yeah,
that elongated right field windup that dude had. So I don't know that it's like. I think it's too easy just to say he's too hyped up, because if that was the case, I think he would come out hyped up. I think his mechanics tend to sort of start to abandon him as now that might be he is becoming more gradually excited as the game goes on.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot to unpack here. And I don't think it's as simple as, again, 1 week in the bye week saying it's fixed.
Well, did you listen to his press conference yesterday, JJ's? He mentioned somebody talked about, asked him about mechanics. And he said, you get in the heat of the game and bad habits come back up. So whatever it is that the bad habits that he had that they thought that they corrected during the bye week when they went to quarterback school and they worked on, basically broke it down. That we always said that, and it's like I think we talked about a couple weeks ago when this was going on, that it can be pitch perfect, right? When you're out on the field and it's just you, but when you get into the heat of the moment and there's stuff happening, you revert back to things that you've done, and it's hard to get out of that cycle.
There's no question about that. And the other thing too is, and this is why I want him as healthy as possible. The other thing too is the only way to really fix this is in games. Like
you mean by playing?
Yes.
And going through
by playing games. The memory, like the muscle memory of what you are doing in practice it's super important. I'm not saying it's not, but the only way to eventually, get this under control. I mean, probably as far as the accuracy thing goes, the perfect test case for this, Josh Allen of the Bills, right?
Yeah.
Because like when he started, the ball was flying all over. I mean that dude was Nuke Lelouch in Bull Durham, and
right.
and he fixed it eventually. But I think the only way he fixed it was hard work off the field as far as the games went, but was hard work in games as well to try to contain that. So I am not, I know that there's a lot of folks who are now like, well, J.J. sucks and blah, blah, blah. I'm not there by any means.
No.
But I do think he needs some help. I do think he needs games. And that's where the injury thing, I don't care if it's a hangnail that's slowing him down or an ankle or what. That's where I think this really impacts him adversely.
Yeah, and I want to see how this plays out the rest of the week because he didn't. Now we didn't see the whole practice. We'll put that out front. We get to see the individuals, but normally during the individuals we see guys throw. Right?
Yeah.
There was no throwing while we were there. The part that we got to watch. Now maybe he did after we left. Maybe he didn't. I don't know, but it just stands to reason if you have swelling in your hand and he's talking about getting it slammed in a car door, gripping a football would be hard. And being able to have the accuracy and all the things that you need to be able to do in throwing the ball. So I just want to see how it plays out the rest of the week. But to your point about the end game, you're right. It's like this is what this season has become, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Playoffs are a long shot at this point. I don't know. What's the latest percentage on that? I mean, those things all have it's got to be pretty low, right?
Phil gave them to us a couple days ago. It was, I forget what it was exactly.
15%, something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. But this is about getting him, figuring out his mechanics and allowing him or helping him, if possible, to become a more accurate passer because you're right. The scripted stuff, I mean, the way he came out the other day, you're like, man, he's on. He's dialed in. This thing's going. And then for whatever reason, whether it's the more excited he gets, the more maybe it's the pressure that teams are starting to get on. If he takes a couple hits, whatever, as you said, the bad habits, whatever those bad habits are, come back in and they're causing him to be errant with his throw. And it's always high. It seems like he misses high on these throws. So I don't know if it's, the touch that we talked about, like everything's a fastball, what it is, but this is, for O'Connell, it's an interesting situation in terms of trying to navigate games. And he mentioned, I asked him about, because we didn't get into his play call, because he talked about that 3rd and 1, how he thought about it all night and kind of wrestled with it. But and I said, is that a one-off? Is that natural? You go home and you're, sitting in your backyard thinking about, he said, oh no, it's a lot of these plays, but he said he gave this answer about how it's trying to develop a quarterback at the same time of doing what's right for the team. And how do you walk that line, Judd, the rest of the year? Well,
I can give you some help. You don't have him pass 42 times.
You don't pass on 3rd and 1.
He ran. So if you, no, I don't. No. And
I know that.
I'll tell you what I think about that in a second. But at the end of the day on Sunday, J.J. McCarthy attempted 42 passes. To your point, 22 incompletions. But he also was sacked once, which is not bad. But that's 43 pass attempts. And then if you assume that the 5 runs by McCarthy were unscripted, we're up to 48 pass attempps. That's how you don't develop a quarterback. So like, and by the way, that also leaves you then, Chip Scoggins, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason combining for 13 rushing attempts.
When they were averaging about 5.5 yards per carry.
Yes. And just to be very clear, you were always in this game.
Yes.
So you were
trailing by 30.
So what are we doing? So what are we doing here? And
I don't know.
And here's the other thing too. And I know that he loves passing, and I know that Kevin is in love with his. And look, he scripts some or he schemes up some really great plays. But you know what? So he brought this up too, and it's sort of weird because it's sort of self-indicting. But so there was I believe it was a 3rd and 1 week 2 against the Falcons, where McCarthy, at the time, as far as I know, completely healthy, third and 1, and they decide to get cute and go down the left sideline for a substantial deep shot for, if I'm correct, Jalen Naylor. And as you just said, he sails the ball. And so now it's 4th down, and I think they punted. So we get back to Sunday. Okay, it's 3rd and 1 again. It's at the 50. I think at that point the Vikings are down. Were they down by a couple points? I mean, it was super close.
Yeah.
And here's what. So here's what I want your opinion on. Okay, because I'm wrestling with this because every time O'Connell talks about this, he talks about, well, we got 1-on-1 with Justin Jefferson, which yeah, and that's great. And anytime you get that, you take the shot. Okay, that's great too. But number one, it's 3rd and 1. Number 2, the Jalen Naylor play was instructive.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so weird to me is O'Connell keeps saying, well, Jefferson tripped. If he doesn't trip, go back and watch that pass, okay? You want to tell me that you can assure me that Jefferson catches that like that was a sure catch? It's almost like he's willfully, purposely trying to exclude McCarthy from the equation, and that's all I care about is Justin's really good. We all know that.
Why don't you run the ball, get the first down, then take the shot? I mean, I know you may not get the one-on-one coverage, and that doesn't happen very often because they clearly were loading up thinking you were going to run the ball. But that one was baffling to me because everything they did this offseason, Judd,
I agree.
was built and designed for that moment to be different, to be able to be a physical running team. Remember what Kwesi said? We built this team with a certain vision in mind that they were going to be balanced. And you go out and get Jordan Mason, and you spend all this money on your offensive line. And then you keep throwing on 3rd and short. I don't – it's just this is who he is. He's not changing. It's clear. Like this is going to be this what O'Connell how he's going to run his offense. And because he, when he was answering my question, he said, and I didn't remember this. I can't remember what I had for breakfast 30 minutes ago, but he said against Detroit last year, same situation. They threw a touchdown pass to Jefferson, and in that same scenario, I'll take his word for it. I don't remember it, but I just to me it feels like, and maybe I'm wrong, but if you can have a credible running game that you can rely on, doesn't that help the young quarterback more than having him throw 48 or drop back 48 times?
Yes.
Maybe I don't understand football enough.
No, you do. No. You're right. Don't question yourself. And and why are we treating this young quarterback like Sam Darnold had been a mess previously? Okay, but he'd been around the league. And he has a big arm. Like we identified that right away in training camp. We're like, and by big, I mean he throws a really good deep ball. So
correct.
JJ has a big arm as far as the fastball goes. But I mean, is Kevin just purposely eliminating the fact that the real question is, and look, just to be very clear here, because Twitter allows for this, okay? People want the reporters to go in and act like that, like O'Connell's on the stand and grill him.
Did you order the code red?
Yeah, and like read into evidence all of the statistics of what he's doing wrong. And quite frankly, that's not really how that works. Like you would need to get a full explanation because he's going to get defensive. So to get a full explanation, you might have a chance one-on-one and then present him with, hey, I'm worried. But like if you grill him on the stand like that, he's just going to get defensive.
He's going to talk around it.
And he's going to talk around it, and he's going to double down and tell you at the end, I don't regret anything. So, but all of that being said, yes, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're treating this kid like he is closer to a finished product. I mean, he's not. He's just not.
Yeah.
Use the run.
You're putting him in situations or asking him to do things that you would ask like a veteran, right?
Yes.
And particularly when his accuracy is a problem right now. Like that's, now does it have to be, if Jefferson doesn't trip, does he catch that ball? I don't know. But because Jefferson had, he had a weird day. I mean, it was just bizarre, kind of a lot of the things.
I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that. Yeah. Yes, he did.
But you're right. It's this is the exact opposite of what I thought it was going to look like. Because if you said in week whatever he's going to drop back 48 times, I would say there's no way that's happening based on everything that they said and did leading into. I thought it was going to be I don't know if play it close to the vest type of thing, because I don't think that's ever going to be who O'Connell is, but I certainly didn't think they were basically going to abandon the run in 3rd and short and throughout and have what did Mason and Jones combine for, like 12 carries? I
13.
don't know. 13 carries. I mean,
13. Yep.
In a game that was
carries.
close. That was,
well, that's the thing.
And you were effective. You were effective running the ball. And it's just,
yep.
I don't. So is this part of the development? Just put them in these stressful situations and make them learn to. I don't know.
But close games. But you're trying. But here's the weird thing.
That's the counterbalance, Judd. That's the counterbalance. Like, do right by the team. Like, trying to win these games. You're not technically out of anything, you know.
But so, like, is he trying? Like, does he think he's trying to win the games? Like, does that shot? He's like, well, if Jefferson doesn't fall down, that ball's caught. And by the way, go back and watch that pass. It's not necessarily caught. It sort of looked like a punt. It's a high arcing ball. I mean, he definitely does not yet throw a fantastic deep ball. He can get it there, but like the touch that's necessary is probably not there. But I fault the coach as much as the kid. Here's a stat that Mackey tweeted a couple of nights ago or days ago. That's mind blowing, but it backs up your point. Okay. J.J. McCarthy has faced 22 situations of 3rd or 4th and short, which is 3 yards or less this season. So 22. He has a fumbled snap and there was a defensive offside. So it's now down to 20.
So 20. Okay.
So it's 20. The Vikings have called runs 6 times. 6 of those times, 20 times. They are 5 of 6 because, it's 3rd and
converting.
2.
Yeah.
Converting. They're 5 of 6 converting. Conversely, they have called that leaves 14 passes. J.J. McCarthy. 0 of 10, 4 sacks, 2 picks.
What? Not one completion on 3rd and short?
0.
Holy cow.
And I asked Mackey this. I think that the follow-up, and he didn't have this, but I think the follow-up question then is, okay, what's the depth of target too? Like, are you trying to just get the little pass, or are you trying to get the big chunks? Because
where's TJ Hawkinson in that situation? He's totally disappeared from this offense. Like, that was the other thing. I thought for a young quarterback, you're going to rely on him. And 3rd and short, like, that should be his bread and butter, Hawkinson, right? That's incredible, Judd, those stats.
I know.
Like, not one completion on 3rd and short? You said it's
2 completions to the opponent.
Oh, yeah. You said it's 3rd and 3 or less, or 3rd and 4 or less? I mean.
Yep, 3rd or 4th.
So, so there's really 22. You said there was a sack and a fumble, right? So we don't know if the fumble.
No, a sack and a defensive offsides.
Okay, so basically
that leaves 20. So they're 5 of 6. They're 5 and 6 running the ball for first downs.
But 17. But if you call that sack, that's 17. 17 dropbacks, 6 runs. Like, shouldn't that be on 3rd and 3, 50-50? Shouldn't that be, if there's 21? Shouldn't it be like, half and half runs, half passes? You think with
a young quarterback? I would be running the ball almost all of the time there. I just move the sticks.
Yeah.
Saying, well, and Kevin's saying, well, but it's favorable conditions because they think we're going to run. But I would argue don't get cute there, because you know what? Teams that can run. Do you know what opposing teams playing against teams that can run know? They know the offense is going to run. They just can't stop it.
Exactly. I don't know if it's, and you would think with Mason, that's why you went out and got this guy for those situations. Well, and I don't mind him throwing some in there. I mean, obviously you're not going to be, but let's say it's 21 because you'll take off the offsides. That's what 15 dropbacks compared to 6 runs. I mean, that's skewed. I mean, that's way too many, I think.
And like against Detroit on the goal line, that just it would have been a huge talker if they had lost, but they won. So it was not. But late in that game, I think it was on 3rd down.
No, second. Third was the bootleg.
Yeah, no, but the bootleg one got me as well, though, because they showed heavy, which is just run up the middle, like just run the ball. And instead they bootlegged out. And so it's like, again, they got cute. And then on Sunday, They go 3rd and 1 at the 50. They go, I think it was offset I. So
Yes.
two guys in the backfield.
So
and if
Ham
I'm
was
not
there,
mistaken, 2 tight ends. Because they're like, everyone thinks we're going to run. Okay. Run the ball.
Run the ball. That's what you guys.
Like running the ball is not there. There are times to be cute and be tricky, right?
Yeah.
And then there's times to just do what you do, which is like to your point, Jordan Mason. Okay, if he doesn't get the yard, then it's disappointing because you picked him up to get the yard. And if you go heavy, that should help you get the yard.
Then you try again on 4th down. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah.
I know it's. I don't understand the logic on this. I mean, he can. I know Jefferson's great, and when you don't get one-on-one with him very often, and you want to maximize that, and explosives, we know how much they can change a game, but it's just tilted way too far to that side. Like the dial has gone way too far to this extreme, and I just if they would just stick with the run game, you might be able to wear down the opponent. You might be able to get in a rhythm there. It might help take some of this pressure off of JJ. Because I wonder if he's dropping back that many times, do you think he's not getting excited and amped up like he has to make a play, and that's causing his mechanics? Maybe I'm reading too much into the psychology of trying to get inside his brain here, but
right.
I don't know. It just feels like
he's not getting he's not getting enough help. And I feel like he needs help from the play caller. I feel like there's just a point where, in 3 years, if this is all a problem, then yeah, we got a problem. But
that's right. Yeah.
But like in 2 years, like I'm not saying that Kevin O'Connell can't eventually get what he wants from him, but it just feels like it's premature. And they tried to walk this fine line of, well, we're going to sign these veterans. We're going to try to win with a quarterback who's young. But then it feels like they're also at the same time saying, and then we're going to load up that quarterback's plate. And I'm genuinely confused, I guess.
That's how I am. Yeah. Because it's just not what I thought it was going to look like or what the strategy and game plan was going to be. So we'll see if this continues, if this is I just can't imagine you want to have this guy dropping back 48 times in a game.
Not in a close game.
That just cannot be the formula that they want. It's baffling to me.
I, in some ways, feel like if they lose to Chicago on Sunday, I, in some ways, feel it will be a weird blessing because the playoff chances will basically be gone. And and then like okay, you tried something, which by the way, it hasn't really worked. But I mean, I was on board with it. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see, right? Which was we're going to sign these veterans. We're going to hope that that works. We're going to try to thread a needle, and it was difficult, but I thought interesting. It didn't work, or it hasn't worked, and so I'm to the point now where I feel like, okay, let's pick a path here, and I would rather pick the path of developing the quarterback than chasing a playoff spot that's probably not going to happen. Now, I don't know what O'Connell would change about his play calling.
Well, that's it.
But all of that being said, I would like the focus to shift to McCarthy because, Chipper, my big thing is this. You cannot go to training camp next summer with any questions that can be answered now.
No. Well, that, I think it's a couple weeks ago when he came back, you said, like, what do you want to see? What's the last? He had 10 games in. Well, number one, play 10 games. Like, that's number one. But number two is, like, get to the end of this and see what he does well. Like, have it no doubt that he is your guy going forward, and this is going to be the future's bright, and we know we got our guy, and this is rough, but he does this well, and we're building towards something. Like, that's what you have to find out. Like, right now, and this is not, the people that are ready to turn the page, it's just, it's so early. Come on, let's have a little more patience than that. But they have to figure out this accuracy thing, Judd, and like, how do you make him a more accurate passer? And I agree with your premise that he has to be in these games and figure it out in games. It can look perfect out on the practice field and all that, but it has to come in the games, and you have to be able to transfer it. So in terms of losing and getting out of the playoffs, I don't know, because the NFL is so weird. It's like, it feels like every team's going to be in it, or most of the teams are going to be down the stretch, and you're going to feel like, well, we're not completely out of it. But I don't even know if that would change the way O'Connell handles the situation. Honestly, do you? Like,
I feel like
how would it change?
So I feel like as far as the palpable tension that you feel existing right now with the franchise, I feel like it would diminish it a bit. Now people wouldn't be happy, but I just feel like everyone's like, what master are we serving in this situation? Are we serving the go to the playoffs, or are we serving the quarterback? And there just seems to be a real confusion from the head coach on down about what they are doing here.
Yeah, in terms of what's the most important priority, I still think winning is. I mean, obviously developing it's 1 and 1A maybe, because Judd, it's a veteran group, man, and you don't.
I know.
Hey, they spent a lot of money on this roster. I don't think the ownership is going to say, "Hey, let's just punt on this season to get the quarterback ready." It's not going to be good for executives, I don't think.
That's a whole nother question. I mean, yes, I agree completely there. I'm saying for the sake of trying to develop the quarterback and lessen the pressure because he knows it's probably a lost cause. But I'm with you. There is the postseason stuff here. The end of the season meetings are going to be juicy. There's going to be some questions to be answered. I think O'Connell's job is in zero trouble. But that being said, I think there's going to be some very difficult, as PJ Fleck says, they're going to eat difficult discussions for breakfast.
Yeah. Well,
you're 100% right on that.
Just because when you spend this kind of money on free agency and if you don't get to the playoffs, owners want to return on their investment when they spend that kind of money for a veteran team that's built to win now. And then you start asking, okay, what is going on that you've been so poor in the draft that you haven't replenished your roster? I mean, those are going to be conversations absolutely that are going to be had. I would imagine. So, but in the immediate right now, what is your over under?
Yep.
On dropbacks for JJ on Sunday against Chicago?
With a bad hand, with O'Connell acutely aware of the criticism out there. Our guy, he knows everything that's being said and written.
Yeah.
I think we get more than 30 rushing attempts, and then the dropbacks go back to whatever a normal amount would be, 20s.
Yeah, I would tend to think yes, because there's been so much conversation about this game and what the heck happened, and not even if he was reading it, just common sense like that. That's not the blueprint at all. Like nobody wants that. I don't think O'Connell wants that, right? Dude, he doesn't want 40.
Chip, I can't. It was a close game. The Vikings led. I can't help you with that question. Like if he didn't want it, he didn't have to do it. Like what?
I know.
I have no idea what he was doing, but I do think with the bad hand, the bad hand is going to be when people say, "Kevin, what happened? You didn't throw as much," because he's not going to say, "Yeah, I goofed up." I think he's going to say, "Well, with the hand, we did the best we could."
Yeah. That's right. But I am curious to see. I want to see how the rest of the week plays out in practice with the hand and kind of, what effect that has on him throwing the ball. We'll see early on if he wears a bandage or not, or if I don't want to say it's just, I think it's still too early before Sunday to know like what impact that's going to have.
Yeah. My guess is it definitely impacts it. But you're right on degree, how much to the degree. Yeah. What was your takeaway from Justin Jefferson's game on Sunday and the body language and all that odd stuff?
Yeah, it was odd. I thought it was unlike Jefferson that we had seen. I think he's earned the right to have a bad game, right? So
and I had no problem with that. It was more
the body
reaction
was
to
weird.
it. Yeah.
And maybe it is just the frustration of how this offense is going. And that he's, when he gets targeted 12 times and has 4 catches, I mean, that's, and I don't know if it was frustrated with the offense, with, not getting receptions, whether he was getting held by the defense. I don't know if it was all those things, but the body language I thought was just different than we had seen because he's always so energetic, bubbly, upbeat, all that. And so that was one of the first times I really thought, man, this is affecting him. Like he's frustrated and bothered by this. So we'll see. I'm sure he'll bounce back. I don't doubt about that. I mean, I'm sure he was disappointed with everything about that game. But it was, to me, it jumped out that it just felt like something we hadn't seen from him in a while or ever.
We've seen him have off games before, or where he has, 4 catches and things like that before. This was and I mean, this is one game, one thing. This was the worst body language I've seen him have in a game. But yeah, and I mean, it's been a long season for him. He's, they're still the offense is not close to clicking yet consistently, and so I get it. All right, last thing, Sunday against the Bears. What's your expectation?
I don't know. The Bears are obviously better than I thought they were going to be.
Offensively.
Offensively, I think their offensive line getting improved helps. Second year for Caleb Williams. I don't know, Judd. I picked a close win last week for the Vikings. I don't know. This team is so hard to figure out and so weird. Because you can go from, playing like that against Detroit to then playing like that at home. I honestly don't know what we're going to see. And J.J.'s hand could factor into that. Caleb Williams, the way he scrambles around and makes plays, I think that would make you nervous because we've seen, this defense get up some broken plays. So I don't know yet. I don't know what my pick would be.
I mean, I'm with you. I picked them to beat the Ravens, but now I'm flummoxed.
I am too.
You also aren't going to have 8 false starts again, which is just a whole nother topic.
Was it the way JJ was barking it out? Was it just a lack of focus? How in the world do you have 8 at home?
I don't know. I have no idea. And I could see, okay, if there's a cadence problem, I could see 3, 8.
Yeah, you're not going to have that again. They had 13 penalties, 12 penalties. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen again. So obviously that's
the penalties are a problem for this team. Like they've taken way too many, but I don't think you're going to have 8 again. And I don't know if it's McCarthy based. I don't know. With 8 of them, I got to think it's across the board. There was just
a
lot
little
of
bit
things.
of everything. Yeah.
But boy, you talk about a small thing that became a big thing. Probably that was one of them.
Yes.
But so Chicago's offense is better. I actually think, I'm not sure what you thought about this. I know that the turnovers have gone down a lot and that the differential is a problem. But that being said, I actually think the past 2 weeks, the defense, I've not had a big problem with them.
No, I mean, they held them to field goals and they did a nice job against Lamar Jackson, keeping him kind of hemmed in and not going crazy on him. So they were fine.
And they got thrown out there time and time again.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, you can't do that to them.
No, not against a veteran team. Yeah, against an older team, you can't. I don't know. Do I call another close win at home? I don't know. I feel like I'm.
Bears defense can be exploited if you exploit it. I think they're 22nd in pass defense. Now, again, I don't want to see 48 passes, but I will say the Bears Achilles, like for people that are like, oh, the Bears, watch out for the Bears. I will say this. I think they get, if they made the playoffs, defensively, I think they get destroyed. They get
exposed, yeah. Maybe I should call a tie. Maybe we'll see a tie Sunday.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I can't do the games.
I have covered a tie. Yeah.
I can't do the games behind between the Packers and Vikings now because I don't understand how to do it.
Well, I haven't covered a tie, that one in Green Bay that time. I will say that was like the weirdest locker room you ever go into because you don't really know how to frame it. Are you mad? Sad,
mad, glad,
happy,
sad, happy,
sad, happy,
happy, mad, glad, sad.
I don't know.
How does it feel?
Talk about it. Judd, this team is so. I have no handle on them whatsoever at all. Game to game, I don't know what we're going to see.
I feel like if they were a normal team, that I would pick them. But and look, the vibes could change now, but the vibes feel off. It feels very tense.
That's how I feel. Yeah,
they feel very tense now. At least from the head coach. Like everything I sense from the head coach is, it's weird. It's weird here. Last thought, and I'd be curious if you agree or not. Now, personality-wise, they have nothing in common, but it's weird. I feel some of the, just from as far as the play calling goes and the offensive mentality and like it's not working, I feel some Childressian things. Some comparisons between O'Connell currently and how Childress got.
We're going to run it this way. This is
defiant,
my office.
It's going to work. Well, I mean, when and it was a great question, but when Will Ragetz, asked O'Connell yesterday about, you got if you sort of peeled away that response, it was a very defiant, there was no, maybe I should.
Passes count as runs. So.
Yeah, it's and you want to grab the poor guy by the shoulders and say, "You're a football coach."
Yeah, it's clearly this season has not gone the way they thought it was. It's whether it's the injuries, whether it's whatever, myriad reasons. But I think tension is right because, Judd, they spent a lot of money on this roster to be relevant this year and to be a contender, and and to have it be things go so inconsistently and be such an epic struggle to either get healthy, have rhythm, consistency, whatever. This is not what anybody expected. And so, you're going to be, extra like, we got to get this thing going the right way. You got to be consistent. And so I understand that kind of human nature, but
not good for J.J. McCarthy.
But yeah,
you got to win this game.
Everything's right on this.
My guess is your starting job's decided on this Bears game in November. Anyway. All right, Chip Scoggins, great stuff. Talk to you next week. This has been Purple Access.